see, let's see, let's see. Okay, Bitcoin. Wow. Okay. Apple carried us yesterday, so let's see what's going to happen. We sold off pretty good pre-market. We sold off pretty good overnight again. This time we didn't recover though as good as we have the other two nights. Past two nights. Let's see, last night, 2 nights ago, we pushed down into this area here and then rotated back above 18,000 before open and then rotated back down. Same deal 2 days ago, down below, right back up to 18,000. This morning, slightly different. We rotated off that high there, down to this low, and then never really rebounded, right? We're still kind of rolling through. So this is more of an idea where I may look to continue my trade down to the downside. I need pops. Yet, I mean, I was thinking that anyway over here. You know, we were trying to short that 18,000 level. Just kind of never got the follow through on it. And then by the time we were done with stream, we were flat. I mean, we were up a little bit, $100. So today we're just going to be mindful of the shorts, opening below VWAP, opening below 18,000. S&Ps are pushing down a bit. There's your S&Ps. You can see that 30-minute right at that bottom. Could bounce. And Q, same deal. We're like in this bull flag pattern type deal, although it could just consolidate up and push down. So let's just be mindful of this level here. We could rotate further to the downside. I do think if we hold this 18 and continue to push lower, the push below that 875, this here, that'll give us more room to 769. So let's be careful, let's mindful, let's watch. All this is bid up since NVIDIA opened their earnings. So anything that where NVIDIA slides or other names slide, then we're going to start to get that kind of move. Alrighty. Hopefully we can work on some holds today. Try and catch some moves, hold them for longer time. See if we can get short kind of quick. Today we get the headphones on. A little headphone action. Anything that we could get a pop on, we look to take to the downside, right? So we got 2 minutes to open. Overnight low here, 892. Overnight high up at that 18,019, 20, I'll call it. I wouldn't hate to see a bounce up into there and then short off that zone. We've hit a little streak of executions, of doing pretty well on executions. I'm upping this to 3 micros on the entry. So we'll see if we can maximize some of our profits today to allowing some of these things to run. We'll probably wait for the opening range to develop and see which way it breaks, and then probably take that opening range trade if it's downside. If we fake out upside, or if the opening range rips all the way up here, then we'll look to see if we can get that short. So that's the kind of trade plan for the morning. An Apple pop. You know, Apple yesterday mentioned that they were doing a getting out of the car game, which was kind of expected. It was not expected at the time, but it was expected. GDP growth rate came in at 730. It came in at 3.2. Forecast was 3.3. That was at 7:30, and you didn't get any action off of that really. A slight sell off, and then you're kind of just basing here. So, you know, GDP is still growing, even though it's growing at a 3.3. You know, a little lower than previous 4.9. The index grew bigger. Wholesale inventories. And then you got crude stocks at 9. So let's just see where we go. Let this opening range play, and then we'll go from there. So there's that push up. I think we get to the opening range low. I mean, the opening range low, the overnight low. You open so close to this area, I think we can get to it. Okay, so there's your opening range. I look to take that short through the bottom of the opening range. If it breaks the bottom. See if we can flush the bottom. That's really what I'm looking to see. If we can flush the bottom, never look back at the high, and then go from there. S&P's a little bit heavier. Pushing downside. Holding. If we break the low, we'll probably get like a good flush. Where's my delta at? It's pretty down. There's a pretty strong delta push to the downside. If Apple cracks the bottom, all right, we're in short. See if we can get to the overnight low. I'm gonna let this go, let it breathe a little bit, try and get to the overnight low. It's thinking about holding. Got right to the low there. It's bouncing some. Currently looking to see if this will go. Looks like it wants to break down. Come on now, you got good delta push. I think we should really be able to at least get to that overnight low, clean up that overnight low, and then see if we could break through that. All right, there's our break. There's our push right to that low. I'm going to put to break even, and now we're just going to see what happens from there. Because you get that consolidation. And we're out. Nope. We still have one on because apparently only moved 2 of them. It is what it is. So we have 1 on. I might have to sell 2 more if we break down. If we break back down, I'll add 2 more. But if it's going to continue on, we're only going to lose a small piece. And we're flat on that. Well, we would have liked to have been out on all of it. I flattened that. We're down 35. We were up pretty good on that little push down. It got into this little liquidity zone there. Flushed that and then bounced right off of that. So let's watch and let it settle a touch. No harm, no foul there. Should have been break even down 35 because I didn't close out the entire position. I thought I had the whole thing, but I did not. Let's wait for that pop up into that area now. That zone up above. It's a nice little turnaround there at the bottom. Really would have liked to see that clean up that overnight low. And I also would have liked to have been break even. We'll put that up there. That was just a mistake on the contract. Okay, you'll see. Opening range high, holding. S&P is giving you a little bit of a push up. Let's see. See Apple pushing back up, Microsoft selling off, Nvidia. Come on. Wow, my fingers are silly this morning. Nvidia pushing up a little, but looks like it just kind of wicked off that area. If it gets to continue to roll over, I think markets do get heavy today. Yeah, I think this is good. Trying to be patient with it, let everything kind of settle in. Tradecaster here, switch over to the YouTube, let people kind of come on over to tradecaster.com, do a test account, 7-day free trial. AAPL giving you slight bounce, but could just falter from here. I'm gonna give it one more shot here, short. I want to see what Microsoft's doing first. Microsoft. Yeah, let's play the breakdown at 30. Flatten that. I don't like when that does that. Leave the high at there and see what we can do with that. Down below 30. 2750 will be our entry there. if we can hold this level, we should be okay. On the high side, I should say. So we are pushing downside a little bit. Actually, I'm getting a little bit of latency issues currently, so that's not good. I may have to reset this platform real quick. If we missed the short, we missed the short. No big deal, flatten that. I want to make sure there's no orders out there. A lot of times I don't like the data latency issues. I know that the stream's doing all right. I think everything else is okay. YouTube looks fine. We may go short on the Top Step X, so just be patient on this. Microsoft, Nvidia looking to be whippy. Okay. Apple pushing down. Microsoft pushing down. Very slow on the quant tower. Need to reset it. I was getting definitely a delay in my data there. See if Microsoft continues to push downside. Something's going on with this data. Doesn't want to connect. All right. Still working on reconnecting here. Sorry, distracting a bit, but we got this bouncing some. Apple's bouncing. Like maybe rhythmic's down. I'm not sure what's going on. So let's just wait, be patient, see what happens with our account here. We are loading. Microsoft still holding up. Let's just leave this here while we wait. A little higher low. There's a push down. All right, so we did break that level that I was considering shorting. Let's see if we hold it. MNQ, I'm gonna short it right here. And we're going to take that stop up to the high there. Let's see if we can get this to push further and further downside. The overnight low I want to see at least touched at 892. Our data came back right on time for that short to kind of come into, I don't know, we're getting some ideas. If we can break through that low, that opening range low, then we should get a good flush. Here we go, up $66 on that. So it must be a rhythmic issue probably. I'm gonna let this thing try and play, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go with this short, let this short kind of bounce around a little. See if it'll play out. Breaking down through the opening range low. If we could continue to break down, then we should touch off, like I said, on that overnight low. That's what I'm looking for here. If it doesn't follow through, then we get a bounce to the upside. But looks like a lot of these names are heavy. Microsoft's heavy. Apple's heavy. Nvidia is heavy. Let's go. Come on now. Amazon from the highs, selling off. Put there, thank you. Just not quite flushing that level. Let's see if it will. We need to break down that opening range low. Hee hee hee. Let's get to that overnight low. Come on now. That overnight low, 892. 892 would be the target there. Here's the push. Come on now. Let's break down. We're looking to break down this blue line here. That's that opening range low. If we can get to the low of the day, then we should still push. This delta is continuing in our direction. Looks really, really nice. So I'm going to go to break even on it. If it fails this, then it's going to fail and bounce kind of hard. And I don't want to be losing any money on the trade. So we don't want to lose anything on this. We're going to let this thing kind of now play risk-free. We're going to put a order down here for one. A buy here. I'm going to front run it a little just to get one off. And then once I get one off, then I'm going to let a couple ride here. Looks like we're going to kind of continue to crack downside. Let's get this thing to go. Let's go. Come on now. Push through this low here. Make us a happy camper on the day here. I'm covering my my risk a little bit there. Above these candles, I think I break above those candles probably gives us another pop. So that's really where I'm at right now. Come on now. I need to break down here. Need to continue to break down. Doesn't want to. We're flat on that account. Down 520 on that account because that's silly. I'd say this was pushing so hard. I just did not want to continue through. Come on now. Let's get through. Get through. Come on now. Push through. Let's go. Come on now. We're going to take this short. Come on. Hold that opening range low. You get that one off at 895, right? We're going to get one off at 895. $118.50 is that line in the sand, I think. Look at that. Look at that delta. It's congruent. We got a good congruent delta. Looks like it still wants to continue to go. There we go. There's the break. There's the break. Let's get down now further. Let's continue to get some flush to the downside. I don't want to move my stop. I want to continue to capture some of this move. I want to allow it to become a actual good runner to the downside on a trending day here. Let's get it going. Come on now. Break through the low of the day. Break through the low of the day. Let's go. Come on now. Up 130. I'm going to go stop just above that opening range low because if we come back to it, I think it kind of rallies back out. So let's see if we can get through the low. There we go. Right through the low. Come on now. Get through that. Get to the, this is a volume node right there at 900 even. So possibly could just bounce from that. But I think if it flushes that, we continue to just roll to the downside. Come on now. Oh my gosh. Just not following through. We're managing this one right. A little bounce. A little bounce. A little bounce. it's kind of catching some liquidity, but you can see the delta's still kind of trying to push down. So there's not a lot of buyers coming in here at the bottom, but there you see a little tick up. Really want to leave that opening range low alone. Stay away from it, please. If not, we're going to be stopped out there. But got to kind of just trail the stop as we see it's fit. But there we go. It held. Let's see if we can get this one off now. Still leaving the stop there. I think if we could continue this flush, we have nothing but downside to go. I want to see what happens in this yellow zone here. If we can get this thing to go further and further downside. Let's see. Get that one off. You gonna get that one off? Come on now. Fill me up. Fill me up. Fill me up with one. Nope. Just did not want to fill that one. Let's get that one off. That delta is super heavy. This is a short market day. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Come on now. Push down. For some reason, my S&Ps don't want to load. It is what it is. There we go. We got the one off, so we are secured one contract. Now we have two on for a runner. Let's see how far we can get this to go. We're going to go opening the range above. We're going to go to the value area low as the stop here. That's the breakdown point. So it should really never come back to that breakdown point, you would expect. Let's see if we can get anything to continue to flush down. We just flushed the opening range low. I mean the overnight low. I think we could, if we flush that open overnight low, we could get down to 875. And I think if we break 875, then we have a long way to go. 92s was that opening overnight low. So let's see. Can we hold below here? That's the question. Can we hold? Can we continue downside? Can we make this the low of the day? Let's go. Great call on the short, right, to open it. Let's keep this thing going. We're going to hold that thing. I'm going to hold, let this thing breathe a little bit. And then I know, like I said, I usually like to do, you see that delta pushing downside? That's a heavy, heavy delta. I want this to hold below that overnight low. If it pops above the overnight low, then we're going to be out. But I like this. I like this. I like it a lot. But we're going to get out. Nope. Nope. It's wicking in. It's wicking in. There we go. It's pushing downside further. That's heavy, baby. That's heavy. Let's see how far down we can go. Come on. Let's go. Break. Let's break this bad boy. We're up 167 ticks. We secured more of... we took one off, and we have two on for a runner. Let's see if we can get this to hold that opening overnight low. So if we hold the overnight low, we're just going to continue to go lower. We can go below 875. 875. If we crack 875 right here, then we should continue way further downside. I wanted to be involved in this. Here's a sad tip that I was in on this short overnight, and I stopped myself out because I was tired, and I decided to stop myself up. I was up 300, and then I went down on my Top Step X 50K, and then I noticed now we're all the way here where we're at now. So be it. It's all about that next trade. I think we have really, like I said, that's 875 level is important. If we could flush it, good. Let's see how far down we can go. There's a good banger to the downside move. Let's go. Come on now. Get through that 75. Let's go. Come on. What do you think we do? Take one off? Nope. We're going to leave it. There's nothing to be excited or chilling. We're just sitting in profit right now. We're just going to manage this We're just gonna manage this. Yeah, glad my thing came back. I think if we can get this to stop its little pause here and give me another leg to the downside, that'd be fantastic. People trying to catch the bottom, kind of just keep running them over. That'd be nice. We may get stopped above the overnight low. Nope, we're still trying to push down. Still trying to push down. I think, yeah, we'll probably secure that right there at the very bottom of the overnight low. All right, we're flat on that. We're flat. That was a very good trade. Everybody there, we were looking to target that overnight low. We got right to it, caught it. We are up 171.50. Nice little banger of a trade right there to start the day. 171.50. Like I said, for micros, that you could times that times 10 for regulars, mini contracts. So 171.50. Very good. Very, very good. Let's go. I'm just going to be patient now. Look for another entry. I'm not going to force in anything else. Yeah, I was short from, let's see what the order says last night. I was short last night from 18,011.50. 18,011.50. It was around midnight. 11.50. 18,011.50. Right here, I was short from here. Had a good setup on it, and I took off profit at 18,000 because based on this choppiness, I thought we are going to get at least a little bit of a bounce on it. Did not. I still can't get my S&P chart to populate. So I took off here. I took a hit on this wick above. And instead of just trading the trade, I mean, realistically, like I said, I got out 18,000 because of this. So I was up a little, and I took a couple trades just now. We're down a little, and now we're just even on that Top Step X 50K. Right here, we are up 171.50 on our 100K account. We're trading 3 micros at a time. We should be up probably 200, but we took that first short here, and instead of getting all 3 stops, I thought I had all 3 stops together. I just completely forgot about one of the other ones, and then once it was there, I just left it because I expected this kind of move to continue to go on. We'll see where we can go from here. If we can hold below that 892, maybe more downside. Beautiful short there we took. I'm very happy with that. We talked it out right before it even opened, right? I said we're looking to get short. If the opening range breaks down, we're going to take the short there. We got stopped at pretty much break even. We lost $30 on it because I marketed out there. And then we took this short from up here on the breakdown of that level there. That's just a pretty key level from up here, right? This is that consolidation here and then a consolidation here. Could have bounced, but realistically, if we got that flush, failed to break that upside, Delta was pushing down. We got a lot of confluence here, so we wanted to catch to that overnight low. So let's see if we can get another one through that overnight low. Delta's not pushing higher, so potentially looking to continue downside. all these other names. Apple has down to 180 still, just like yesterday. It'll probably recover 180. Microsoft below 406.18. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Nvidia, just very whippy. I think we go with Apple. May look to short that overnight low again, but we look for a delta divergence. You can start to see delta's actually kind of trying to creep up here. So there are buyers coming. They're coming in a little bit. I'm going to wait, be patient. Although a flush of this could probably push us down through 75. I did mention 75 was going to be that spot that we needed to flush. And we bounced pretty much right off of it exactly. We bounced off of 76 and a quarter. So, I mean, the levels are there. We do a good job of calling them out, taking trades to targets, which is nice. Do we think maybe we should have trailed one more to here and then had the other one at the high at break even maybe, but I don't mind taking my profits because this is like a kind of setup I like to look for to fade to rotate to highs, right? Which I may look to do. Apparently everybody's having data feed issues. I wonder if anybody else over here has any data feed issues. If you like that short, keep watching. We're going to call out another banger, hopefully today. Pretty happy with that gain there, 171.50. Another day that we shouldn't give much of this back now. I'm going to set myself a loss limit to the downside for this account for $100. So, we're just about $300 away from getting that $1,000 back in buffer. So once we get to there, I might just continue on with the 3 micros for the time being until I get completely out of drawdown on this and just show you how to get totally out of drawdown trading a little smaller size. It might take a little longer, right? If we stick on the pace that we're at, right? $170, $100 days, you're looking at 2,000 divided by 100, 20 days. So there are bound to be days that we don't. If we can continue this break here, and then I'm going to watch to see if a failure of the breakout happens or if we do end up breaking above this level here. I think this is a very important area here and here. You can see how we bid up, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low here. Let's see if we can get that here. I want to get it here on top of this to get that rotation higher because I feel, you can see the delta starting to push up. This is what I like to fade, right? That overnight low, we opened near it, we had to come get it, we had to clean it up, and then a rotation back. The only thing we had is on Apple, there was apparently news on something to do with its Vision Pro and the concerns with it. But yesterday we did some news that they're getting out of the car game and focusing on AI, so possibly looking to get that to be good. this is a nice long spot for me. I mean, really just not paying attention to other equity names or anything like that. And just my problem is that any sort of real good selling to me wants to happen. I think it just wants to continue to happen. That's just my problem with right now. Heavier, started to tilt up 71%. If it can tilt up a little bit higher, then maybe the short comes back in. I don't have an ES chart. It's not reloading. Significant delays when requesting history. All right, one more time. I'm resetting this. We are flat. We don't have any orders out there. So we're good. We're going to reset this one more time. You can see my family there. I want to get all my data back to reset and happy. So we're going to wait and see. So watching these charts here, just trying to get a good idea of what's going on for the day. Here's what we look at with these value areas, right? This is the value area from last week. This is this week's value area. Very, very tight this week. You can see the volume point of control here for today. Volume point of control has been up here pretty much all week. Now we're starting to try and accept down into this previous week value area. So I would not be surprised if we did try to roll, if we got through this zone here, try to roll down to the middle of this previous week's value area, just because we had that huge run up from NVIDIA. Just a chance to kind of retrace some of that, maybe down into this 793 level. You know, we have an unchecked point of control all the way down at the bottom at 46. So eventually that'll get maybe tagged. So we're just being patient, watching these levels and seeing what happens. These other names here. Oh, there's a... What is going on with this fucking data? So this is what you got to be mindful of. Data issues are a real thing, especially with some of these... other name, like fucking, we held that low there on, I'm just seeing it on top side back. I'm missing all of this information, so that's fun. I know what happened here. That was our short. I mean, maybe it's just mad that we made money on it, so it just decided to disappear. You're starting to catch a little bit of delta here at the low. Progressively higher delta, progressively higher price. See if we can get, I don't understand it. Maybe it's while there was data gone. We are trying to hold that overnight low. Maybe this one will give it to me. Give it to me. Fill those candles in. I don't want to see it a gap if it's not really a gap. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns about what's going on, my data issues are starting, so I think it might be a CQG issue. There we go. Trying to hold that. So if you could imagine, there's a big red candle, two of them kind of chopped a little, then we broke the low. Now we're pushing up higher. Do I trust this as a break yet? No, but if you can see Microsoft pop up or Apple pop up, then you can probably get this. That's why I drew this here. It's a chance that this decides to reject, but if not, we're gonna watch to see if we can sit on top of here and then continue on. So I'm gonna want to close here, and then I want to hold, and then I want to then rotate higher. So we're talking about this happening here with data issues and whatnot. I'm not trying to like hammer into stuff. I'm glad I was able to get into my short before. But right now, I'm just one more reset away from getting everything. So you can see trying to not fail that level, but it's holding right on top of that. So if it does break up and above, then you could possibly see this continue to the long side. If not, if we flush here, then maybe a break of this overnight low gives you that continuation this time. So let's see if it'll break above. I went long on the 50K account just to see if we can get a follow through on it. I have a stop just below that 905. If we can hold that 905, then we should be good. Except into that opening range low. I didn't want to take it here because I'm nervous about the data feed at the moment. So I'm just holding below 905. I want to see if we can accept all the way up into that VWAP area. If we can get up into that VWAP, then we go break even. Microsoft holding above 406.18. Apple pushing up. Oh, my fingers are in the wrong spot. There's that push up into there. Need to accept into the opening range. Kind of fighting it. Can we recover this entire move to the downside? Looks like it. I'm going to go to break even now on that move. Because if we fail this opening range low, then we're going to probably rotate downside. Because we need to kind of like get above this 920 and accept and hold to get to that VWAP. And then through that VWAP up through the opening range high. And then you guys see what happens at that opening range high. You got Apple. Kind of stopping. I think we're getting stopped out on this. Yeah, we're flat on that. I didn't really want to take much risk on that, just with some of these names, and then a lack of acceptance right there. It may push in, good, but really not very happy with everything going on with the platform issues. And I don't think it's a platform thing. I think Quant Tower is fantastic. I think I never really have many data issues or anything. It's probably a data feed issue, especially if other people are having the same problem. I'm not looking to hammer into anything else. Up 171. If we fail this breakout, then we could possibly look to short it, right? It's but you can't see what I'm looking at because it's totally off. Nope, still there, still gone, still gapped out. There it is, that failure of that overnight, that opening range low. There we go. Got our data back. All right. Very, very happy. If Microsoft could fail 406.18, I think we continue to roll over. Apple held that downtrend. Delta kind of flattening. trying to get back up into there. If you see a pop in Delta or a bigger push down in Delta, then you may get that rollover. If you do get a rollover, you need to break down to confirm below pretty much 900 is really where you want it to get through. This is could look to be a reject here pop, but we're gonna watch it. All right, cool 2-minute tutorial on Delta. Cumulative Delta is what I'm looking at. So on the, let me give me 1 second. The Quant Tower platform differs slightly from Tradeovate. Tradeovate has it as well. You can look into it. You could see, but it's pretty much the same information, right? Delta here is just short-term buyers and sellers, kind of who's in control right that second. If more people are buying than selling, this will tick up. You can see that the orders go up and down here. It's just the accumulation of orders in a certain direction, either up or down, right? So you want to see, if you start to see, for me, how I use it, I'm going to use that more so than how I'm just watching this, trying to see if it'll flush. Just give me a second. Because you do have that delta that I'm talking about. Yeah, that delta here, right? So you get to a key level. This is really where I like to use it most, right? You get to a key level, you start to see that sellers and buyers are fighting at this location. It's almost the same thing as a candlestick chart, right? But it's just telling you the amount of buyers or sellers at a location, right? So usually how I use it is when I get to a level, let's call it down here. If have price moving down, I want to see more sellers trying to break the low, right? We come back up, we come back down. As we're approaching the low here, I want to see this also approach the low and or crack to say, okay, not only is price moving down, but delta is the amount of people who are coming in now, stepping in and wanting to sell at that location to come in and actually sell, right? So if they aren't selling at that location, then there's a chance that we're going to reverse off of there. Like right here, we didn't push through with the delta, right? We pushed up through the zone there. That was that high right here. That's the high there. That's the high there. You step one more candle out. You start to push up. This starts to push up. You come back down. As you're approaching that same breakout level, you never quite really made it to where it broke out as far as delta is concerned. That means that there are still some more buyers stepping in above that level than are looking to sell. It's really just like the same information that you get in a candlestick chart, but it's more than just price. It's actually just orders being placed at that location. And it's not just volume, because volume at these areas as well is different than what I'm talking about as well. So I think really delta itself on its own, you're not going to get a ton of information, but at key levels, that's where I like to use it. So a 2-minute, like really quick hitting, like just 2-liner is delta is the amount of people who are long or short at that specific time, at that specific price. Doesn't matter really what price is doing, is what is going on at that second with orders. I'm on a 1-minute chart, so this is 1 minute, right? So we're just going to pay attention to those things and then see what happens at key levels. I like to use it when we're pushing up right here, right? If we're pushing up and we're going to try and make new highs, are we going to make new highs or not? If delta starts to push down and price is trying to push up, price tends to want to try and catch to it, and vice versa. If delta pops and price is just kind of sitting here, and then you're like, oh, maybe it wants to get up and it doesn't, and it starts to fall and this starts to push down, then you get a little confluence on there was a bigger buyer holding it down or holding it up, and then you get it off from there. So that's the quick delta idea, right? You can see it here. Lower high in delta, lower high in price. When you get to opening range low, there should be some volume, but there's not, right? So right now we're kind of getting my idea here where if we crack this low, I'm going to set that. If we crack this low here, then we should probably flush it because, we could probably flush this due to the fact that price is trying to make new highs. Even if you get a wick off high, right? A wick off high here, if Delta doesn't catch up, right? It's trying to, it didn't quite get there. If you break the high and Delta doesn't get there and you start to creep Delta down as you're trying to make new highs, then you could look to see the short come in on the other end because the buyers were not stepping in at a level where you would expect them to step in, right? So I'm going to sell it. This is my push up, lack of Delta push. Tilt got 70% long. We tried to accept into here twice, did not accept. We're trying to rotate over, and we're going to see if we can get Delta to kind of confirm where we're going on the downside. Didn't get filled yet on this one. Okay, so Delta on here on Quant Tower, if you go to your indicator type, I don't know what you have. So if you have this, you have to go to indicators, which is here, add indicator, and then you can go to cumulative Delta and search cumulative Delta, and you click it right there, and then it'll just add this bar on the bottom. You can pretty much leave these settings alone. Also on Tradeovate, you got to just go into the indicators tabs and then just search cumulative Delta. It should be there somewhere. I'm not certain. Oh, trying to spill my coffee everywhere. Hot damn. Hey, attaboy, up 240 and done. Get it going, baby. I want to see this thing roll over one more time. That's why I'm taking this short. And I'm also teaching about this cumulative Delta divergence. And then if it's the strategy and I'm going to take the short, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So let's see what happens. There we go. You can see that Delta divergence working like money. Money. I'm going to go to here. I don't want it to... Honestly, we're just going to show you the Delta divergence working. I want it to work. I want 900 to hold, though. I need 900 to hold. You see that Delta push down. That was a good sell. Should be able to continue to push further down. I want to get one off probably at the... I should have probably got one off at 900, actually. Damn. Well, that was silly on that. I got coffee everywhere. I need to clean this up. Does that Delta divergence continue now as we push down? Was that wick off just a tricky little bastard to come stop us out on the other account? And we're going to see if we can roll further. I'm watching Tilt. Tilt's 70% long, so I'm going to see this thing roll over some more. Come on. I'm trying to be patient with it. Let Apple kind of pull us downside. Microsoft bouncing some. I have coffee everywhere. Don't be Italian and running your hands around while you're talking on a chat while you got coffee in front of you. That's probably not the best idea. Let's see if we can crack this low here, then we should continue down. I'm being patient with it, trying my best. I don't want to drip coffee on my keyboard. Let's see if we can get this to flush down to that overnight low again. And if we break overnight lows, I think we get that 75 incoming as well. So I'm going to do one off at front run it again. We'll get one off there. Need 900 to crack though. 900 is that key level. I'm trying to be patient on it, trying to hold it, letting it do its thing. I want to get one off there. Really, we're not risking a ton. If we do take this loss, then, you know, we're not going to want to give back any more than that on the day. Up 174, 175. If this flushes to the downside like we expect it to, based on our delta divergence at a key level, at failure to get back into the opening range, if we can break this first little low here, then hopefully 900 will crack, and then we can kind of get this guy to break even at least, and then see what happens from there. Yeah, you know what? If we're gonna bounce from here, I'm gonna be flat. So it's a free trade for me. There we go. I hope you guys, during that lesson there, learned a little bit, because that was a money explanation of how delta divergence, key levels, how it kind of works. And it worked out kind of. I mean, really, if I don't, no matter what, if it rotates off of 900, because 900 is a key level and you're going to get the same kind of divergence at the bottom, I'm still break even, right? I'm good. I'm happy to see this kind of do what it was supposed to be doing, and we're flat now, right? So we're break even. It could continue to roll over, but I don't need to be involved on a bounce off of 900, especially up 178 and change. You know, it's fine. I will look for one more. I just need a little bit different setup here. 5193. Alrighty. Let's see if Apple holds. See what the market does. You're trying to hold this bottom end here, probably get right into this. These are like very short term, overnight low type ranges there that I'm just using it for now. I'd say trade of 8, delta is exactly the same. If this fails here, 900 is going to be the line in the sand here. You are kind of getting that higher delta, that higher highs, delta push, trying to push these lows, not quite making it to the lows on the delta. New sellers trying to come in. If new sellers try to come in here below, then we continue downside, which we are still continuing downside. Kind of annoyed on my other account that I just stopped myself out on that ad, because this is the real move. Stupid. It is what it is. There you go. There's that good move. That delta divergence worked out like money. We stopped ourselves out at break even just because of the 900 level, but that's just not wanting to give much back from the day. $9:27 a.m. here. Apple looking to kind of try and break down lower. There we go. Apple getting weaker again. Just being patient watching this thing. If we can crack here, we probably go long. Oh, gas inventory is coming out. I'm gonna take a long here. If it goes through 910, obviously it did not. If we crack this high here, then I think we go up further. Let's see if this will pop from here or if it's going to fail again. Looks like your delta's trying to push up some. All right, so we're in long. We're going to go stop just below 900. So if we flush 900 again, then we're out. Could just be like a little wick off and a short, but if it does hold this level, like I said, it should continue on upside, but we are heavy, so I'm kind of just fighting this a little bit. Flipped our bias a little bit just based on that strength that came in at that overnight low again. Giving it a little bit of room to breathe on this, like 900, like I said, is that key level. Let's get through that opening range low. If we can get through that opening range low, we're good. Still waiting, still patient. Get it up there. Microsoft running into a little resistance. Apple wicked the low and now it's giving a little bit of a bounce. Nvidia bouncing. Maybe at these levels, if we catch a bounce here, then this kind of rotates up higher a bit. This is pure based on this overnight low getting wicked off and then just some strength come pouring in right there. Apple is rolling over some more. So maybe a little divergence on the equities to this. But if Tesla pops, Tesla's holding us up. Microsoft, I want Microsoft to bounce some more. There you go. There's a breakout. I'm going to go break even. Let's see what happens at that level there. And now let's hold it. Let's see if we can get this to rotate through. I'm going to sell one at VWAP or just before VWAP. If I could add, I don't have any more contracts, but I would consider if I could get this to hold here and then get above here. It probably won't hold. They're probably going to stop out on this, but I'm okay with that. If it doesn't, this is strong. This is probably able to crack this high here. If you crack this high, you could probably add some contracts to it. I don't have any contracts to add because you have a max add thing, max contracts in Top Step for the leverage for the account size, so it's fine. I think if we get above that level, we rip. But right now, I think we're at a decision point. Just waiting, just being patient, letting it go. It's at break even. It's a free trade, so there's nothing that I can do now to make it do anything that it doesn't want to do, right? It looks like there's Delta pushing up now. We're trying to make new highs. Delta's trying to push up higher with us, so it's congruent. We broke through this very strong Delta, so new buyers are stepping in on top of these sellers there. So come on, pushing up, push through it. There we go. Let's be able to get one off at VWAP. See, there's that where I would have added. I'm going to use this to here. Okay, we got one off. Nice. So now the rest of this is just a runner. Called that long there. Took off one contract. We have two secured, and we're just leaving a runner on with these two. We're up 213 secured on the day after taking that one contract off. If we could roll through VWAP, which I don't know if it will or not, we never know anything in this market, but if we can get through VWAP, we could rotate to this pre-market, this opening range high. Then you got to see what happens at the opening range high. I'm going to change my secured P&Ls to currently sitting at 213. And then anything, once we get out, I'll let you know what our actual P&Ls are. But another great day here, back-to-back-to-back days. We're keeping our winning streak alive here. I only streamed till 11 yesterday. I streamed till almost noon. We made 113 on stream on these micros. I sized up a touch today. Just one more micro contract. So we are looking to see if we could hold this here. If we could get this to get up through this high some more, we can hope to continue and accept into our opening range and then beyond. So that's where we're at right now. 730 is a key level as well. So 730 may be important. I'm leaving this stop below this candle, and then I'm probably going to trail candle by candle basis because I do not believe so much in this rotating, but it could rotate all the way back to the highs if any of these catch bids. So I don't want to get out just because, right? If Microsoft can push up, if Apple can stop making new lows, if Nvidia can bounce, if Tesla can keep rocking, just giving some back, probably rotate down and get us out. If it fails it, then you can get that rotation to the downside. Ooh, if Amazon cracks the high, we can get going. I'm comfortable, right? I secured profits. I took one off. I have my stop below, up past break even at least. Let's see how many ticks we got secured. We secured 21 ticks. So cool there. Looking to see if we can get this to get any further upside. Microsoft looking to tick up, kind of getting wicky, and then that you're failing that opening range, trying to hold. It looks like it wants to get heavy though. You can see the delta starting to creep in. Any sort of sells, I think today sellers, anytime you start to see sellers creep in, you're going to start to get that selling. That's why I'm quicker with these. I'm quicker with my longs profits, right? We're up 233.50 on the day. Big 233.50. So we're up 233 on the day on micros alone. So just shows you the power of trading micros. You don't need to trade huge size to make consistent profits, right? And there's a push further. It just stopped us out by a little, and then it's going to continue on upside. Shit happens. We want to get ourselves back up. We're at 2,301. I'm going to try and just dig out of this hole purely with micros and then see how much we could get going after we, continue to push up. So that's my thing. Let's see what happens. I'm going to be very patient now. We're up 233. I don't want to give much back after this. We're seeing the market well. We're kind of just in the middle of a range though now, right? A failure of this could rotate us down. However, I don't know if I trust it too much to short right this second, right? We gathered once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and we made higher lows each time, every time we broke down through that overnight low, potentially looking to rotate. And you can see the kind of range we were in. This was the range that we were in. We started to sell off some, could look to reclaim at least up into that area there. 18,000, that could have been our initial breakdown of that there, but shit happens if we don't get back there, then so be it. But that is the concern, that the way the market's been acting, that we may just stay range bound for a long time. And even if you do some sort of like trend line thing, right? We still have up into that 18,000 for this next leg up. Even if you tuck it in there, we had that false breakout, come back down. This is like more of a zone, right? If you get that zone, the price could come anywhere into here after breaking down. If we're going to stay in this range, 18,000 again, I would look to short it again if it gets back to there. But really, I'm not going to take a long above 28.75. That's really VWAP here. I'm not looking to go long middle of the opening range, anything like that above VWAP. I'm not looking to do that. It's the middle of the opening range. I don't want to take it there. I'm going to just be patient, let it kind of maybe accept into here. If it breaks above that the opening range high, then we'll watch it, maybe see if we can break out. But right now, we've been kind of just slowly building this account back for more and more and more. So I want to see if I could get this back to where it needs to be. And it's not going to be by hitting a home run, on a choppy week. If we can continue to take our base hits, then we'll be just fine on this account. Just digging out from the depths of hell. We just trade our plan, right? That's all we can do. I don't have any problems trading my plans. Sometimes I get into a tilty mode, and that's really what gets me in trouble. But I'm trying my best to just curb that tilt and just get myself to continue to just battle back, stay in good habits, and just consistently just take what it's giving me on each trade and go from there, right? Like this one, we took this short and we secured this entire move basically there, right? Our target was overnight lows. We took one contract off in case that this flush continued to flush us down. We moved our stop there, came back, stopped us out. Not that we were looking to just secure it there, but usually when I have a target or an area that I would look to possibly take to the other side, that's when I get tight with my stop and secure profits. If it does just continue to flush, then you catch more of that, right? But the only thing I would have probably liked to have done was take one off at 75. But we would never got to 75. I would have tried to front run it. But overall, it was a good trade. Can't be mad at it. I think these lack of follow through here, you're getting a delta divergence as well. Not divergence, but like a lack of buyers coming in at this high area. So any sort of push down will probably come in with some force. I'm not taking it for this. And a break above like I said, we could rotate all the way back up to 18,000. I think that there is room, You know, overnight highs are there. That little trend line that we have going on the 30-minute is there, so it's potentially there. Sorry about the delta being covered. I'll move that over there. I just gotta pay attention to where the screen is a little bit better with my stream. I apologize, but you can see delta trying to creep up. The high is here. If we wick VWAP again and delta doesn't play along, then you're not probably considering to break out. Especially, you're trying to make higher high, and you never made a higher high in delta, right? It's a lower high here, higher high there. Trying to make a higher high, still even this lower high from this one yet. So potentially looking to fail the opening range low again and then rotate down 917. So you're trying to break up through the highs. No. There you go. You can see it a little bit better there. Here's that high, and we had the high in delta. New high, lower high in delta, right? Lower high. Trying to make a new high here, lower high in delta. Not new buyers coming in here, or not people who are looking to pour into it, right? Give me 1 second. I gotta get a napkin for this coffee, because otherwise I'm gonna... Can't cry over spilled coffee. Let's spill more coffee. Alright, so we're good now. See if we break down through this overnight, through this opening range low. Looks like we are. That's that delta divergence working in your favor, right? You're kind of just giving you confluence to say, okay, is it going to break out here? It doesn't seem like it wants to break out because there's not new buyers coming in, right? I don't have anybody new coming here. Well, there was a big push upside. Now you get that delta pop. That's different. Could that be a liquidity push to give you that one more dump down? These are the things you gotta just kind of think about while you're trying to get into these trades. And then if you do get the flush down, you gotta see what happens at 900. Not just this yellow zone, because this yellow zone is just that pre-market range that I saw, that I just drew up. Still, you see Delta just, it tried to tick up, tried hard, it just not getting there. So, I mean, it could immediately just rip up and then you just get it at rip, but it's sort of wedging just like you would get a regular wedge. It's the same thing on the other end, though. If you do get the delta to not play along to the downside, then you're still really indecisive on the direction that you want to go. Could we take this short based purely on that? I don't know. Do I want to risk $25? Let's see. 3 contracts, risk to VWAP. I'm gonna leave it alone. It could flush here, but it's kind of not something I want to do right now. 10 minutes till 10. I don't think it's wrong if you decide that you want to try and short it because it could roll over. Any sort of weakness that comes into any of these other names, Microsoft's starting to sell. There you go. There's a push down. Does Apple continue to roll over? Maybe. You know, you got to see if it'll crack now below this 912, 913, 912. Yeah, 912, 911. If it flushes that, then maybe you get that continue to push lower. Now that you see that big delta push downside. Price is holding up just a touch, but if it can catch that little bit of a sell side move, then you could just see, based on the lack of buyers above that area, where you're more likely to come down than to go up, just based on the amount of buyers or sellers. Tilt is currently 55%, so it's just even. Apple making lows. Microsoft trying to just be strong. It's helping this up. Nvidia popping a little. Staying wedged. What's Tesla doing? It was leading higher. Now it's kind of pulling back some. I'd like to see Apple crack lows again. A lack of breakdown too does give you that idea, right? You got the wedge still coming. You flushed down to the wedge. Didn't quite make a new low. Held that 12 level to a tick. Right here at 12 level. If it cracks at 12, then maybe that's where the flush, like the real flush, kind of comes in. I'm trying to give you a better view here. I'm trying to manage the chats, different chats. It's streaming and trading isn't the easiest thing to do in the world, that's for sure. Do we get the good flush, or does it not come down? You got that breakdown there. It looks like it wants to break 12, but just not playing along. Delta pushed down, price pushed down. Maybe this is a grab, a liquidity grab to possibly push us further down. To come up here, grab some orders, and then rotate downside. There you go. There's the push. Let's see if it cracks 12 again. Does it hold? Or is this, you see that delta flush of that area, and then now you get a bigger start to creep up. If this delta candle cancels out this previous candle, then you could maybe look to see this break and continue upside. Not different than the other side, right? It's just the opposite end of the divergences. But Apple pushing down. Microsoft pushing down, PSLA. It's a very indecisive time, right? It's a good time to stay out and then, maybe find your way. But it's just, there's not a ton of information going on right now. It's trying to gather whatever it can decide. Do we have anything coming up? 10 o'clock. Nothing. Do we flush? Weird. Delta is just still hanging out on the lows. If you get a good another push down to make new lows, that's what we want to see there too. There's Apple pushing down. I think we're going to push down further here. Let's see what happens. So there's that push. I want to see this flush. There's that good move. Does it hold? Delta, like, just like fading, price just fading. There's just no buyer in there. No buyer. No buyers. We're up to 33.50. I just didn't have the high conviction on this as far as a good setup for myself. It is a good idea if it does break down. However, it's not convinced yet. Just being patient with it. Let's see if we can get one of these combines. Let's see if we can get this combine up a little bit. That's what I'm going to look to do here. I'm going to try and do it, but I'm going to have it over here on the side. Do we bounce from here? You're not getting a true flush, but you do see just like that lack of follow through, which I think this is kind of just a good reason to stay out. Maybe a rotate higher. Microsoft pushing down. Apple kind of trying to catch a bottom, but I don't know if it's going to continue or not. Nvidia trying to rotate a little bit. Tesla looking to push higher. Microsoft. Let's see what Microsoft does. Delta still making new lows, just kind of slowly drifting lower. It looks like it wants to pop a little bit. The S&Ps is leading us upside. Now you can see there's the Delta pushing up a little. We're flat on that. Did not get the breakdown that we expected. There you go, Delta pushing upside. I think there's a chance that we can now accept this range here, potentially look to rotate higher, just based purely on this Delta. Look at that thing going, bidding up some. I did say we do have some room up to, what do you say? We have room up to 18,000. If we get it above that the 928 level, you may get a pop up to the highs of this 990, and then you possibly get that rotation into that area, right up into that 18,000. If Apple gives you a little bit of a bounce, right there you go. There's an Apple bounce. $9.59, 10 minutes. Minutes, 1 minute. Let's see. S&P is pushing up much higher. think if 28 breaks, which it looks like it's trying to break here now, if it holds above it with the 30 close, then we should continue on upside. The lack of the failure to the downside, you know, you were getting that delta divergence, but you weren't getting that follow through on the push down. I mean, we did secure, so on the one trade that we took, we secured enough to be up 233. You know, the trades that we've taken so far have been well executed. I think we're doing it really, really well. There's a push upside further. There's a big pop. There we go. NASDAQ catching up to the S&Ps. There's the pop right through the high. We just decided to take that long on that here. Ended up 865 on that. I took a quick trail on it. It could probably continue on up, but that was a good combine catch there. I took the long from where I was talking about, and then I added one there, and then I took them off at the high there. So I was down a touch on that one on the first short attempt. So to go up 865 on that one, not too shabby. So that one's almost halfway. Could have took this long here on this account. Did not. I just, like I said, I don't trust some of these breakouts. And NASDAQ pushing up, popping off, 10:01 a.m. Everything is pumping. This is why we were talking about longs down here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 times attempted to break through that overnight low. And then you get that failure one more time. There were higher lows every time. And then if you took that long there, I mean, you're still in great shape. We're up 233 on the day on 3 micros. Could have took one more, didn't take it. Locked out of that one. I do think this, maybe we can, be careful in this area, but if it does crack above, I do think there is some, like I said, into that area. If we crack the high here, into that 18,000 zone, anywhere between 85 and 18,000 is possible, which is that other daily VWAP mark. Trying to dig ourselves out of that hole, so that's what we're doing. Well, if you need some coffee and you're in the chat, go over to daytradingcoffeeco.com. It is a company of coffee for traders, by traders. It is dedicated to fueling your P&Ls. We got some cool mugs. We got some good coffee, good shirts, everything you want, you could need. We have it, and it's delivered to your door, roasted fresh. Use code POLICINGPIPS, and you get 15% off. So that's always nice as well. Just watching this now. Apple gave you that little pop after being beaten down. Microsoft, pop, Nvidia, big breakout there. tilts about 65%. There's that push up again. I think you do have up into 65 at least as your next just area of resistance. Just getting strong. Could have held that. We did take the long through this, and then we took off at VWAP, and then we got stopped here. Obviously rotated down. Would have been stopped at break even anyway after that. So we did a good job of securing profits on that. I was talking about how the delta divergence was playing out, and then as soon as you got into here, that breakout started to happen. You saw it like fail to break down. You got a little whippy. Once you accepted back into the opening range, that high was coming in. Just see what happens from here. Could stay range bound. Could accept right back from all these choppiness and rotate back down, or just hold here, rotate up into this yellow zone, and then see what happens, because you got resistance there, resistance there, resistance there, and there. So potentially up to, like I said, 965 for that first resistance level, and then maybe just be careful from there. Flatten out. Delta price is just not like, it got that nice little run there, broke above that opening range high. Could just chill here for some time and then either break above, continue this momentum, or fail to break out, rotate back down. So that's what we're looking at here. Do we break down? Do we continue on? Let's see, 55% long, so pretty congruent. Got myself a donut. I'm hanging out. We'll be here till 11. I'm being very patient, seeing if we can get another setup. Maybe up into the 65. If I can get like a wiki candle up in here that maybe I could rotate this down from, I may look to do that. Super tight little range here. I think, yeah, like I said, if we can get up to 965-ish, that level there, you can see the resistance on it. That's on the way down. We're on the way up right now, looking to try and kind of reclaim that area that we had from yesterday. Yesterday's value area low was 69. So maybe we wick into that 69 level and then come back down. Or if we accept into it, right back up into that 18,000 level. That's really what I'm looking at. S&Ps has sort of been leading today. It was pushing upside, pushing upside, pushing upside. Took a while for the NQ to catch up, but we finally caught up. S&Ps is now trying to push down through opening range low. You can see here, right? Looking at this opening range low, if it cracks here, look to maybe potentially rotate down. If you want to push back up through the high, 50.92 is still there. We are in the 30-minute here. You're above that 28. Like I mentioned, if we do get above that 28, we're going to see some pressure. We got right above it right here, and that's where we got that buying pressure coming in. So now we're here. We're sitting on top of our opening range. So the top of the opening range is going to hold. Then maybe that rotation up into that 69 level happens for me to look for my short. All right, give me 1 minute. Go to the bathroom. I think there's some more coffee to be had. I'll be right back. All right, still just kind of hanging out here, right above that that opening range high. S&P is right in the middle of its range of that opening range. So let's see if it pushes up above and leads us higher. It seems like it was leading us higher before. Microsoft kind of looking at it's just like not doing much anymore here. Apple was at its bottoms and now looking to kind of rotate up higher. So I think my Apple does have down to 180, like we said yesterday. I have a new picture that I want to post. Pushing down below there. Failed that area, right? You can see now that it failed, looking to continue to rotate down a bit. Nothing doing for me right now. Just being patient with this. Apple creeping back up here. Looking a lot like a failed break back down. A potential break above this area could lead to a long. However, a failure here and then a rotation back into that opening range could lead you to push sell side, right? So we're watching both ideas, right? You got a high volume node here at 50. I think maybe a break of that gives us that push up to 65. Any sort of failure, you get that lower high, lower high, lower high here. Lower delta, and that push to the downside. Tilted is 61%. If we can crack back below 43 and a quarter. The low there is 43.50, so 43 and a quarter. But now we're pushing back up, so it looks like that was just maybe a liquidity grab. Now try to run us up to the highs. Let's see what happens. It's really kind of just a patience area at the moment. I need it to get into here for me to even decide to do anything else. Because anything that's breaking out here could just be a fake out, liquidity grab type action. Then you're just kind of in on a short. But you can see Delta kind of pushing up stronger. Maybe a break above here does get you that one last push up into that 65 to 69 level right here in the zone. Maybe I can get a whippy action up here into 80, and then a failure of 80. Maybe I could rotate back down and try and reclaim some of these areas. I am going to watch the S&Ps as being the leader for the day as well, because it seems to have driven us upside. So some of these other names probably acting better than the Mag 7 names. Microsoft. Just kind of grinding upside. Apple, give you a little wick. I'm going to put some music on in the headsets. Let's see what happens here. Do we get a break or do we fail this level? I'm fairly certain I hit 90s hip hop. I did. All right. I'm gonna say this is definitely not that. It's probably gonna get into something. Momentum's upside right now, so like I said, I want to get into that yellow box there. 69 would be the nice target. If we can get this to push harder, and then the lack of wanting to really break out maybe gives me that indication that the next attempt, if we get up into here, that next attempt at a breakout does try to fail as well. So that's what I'm trying to do here. If Apple kind of rallies up some and then fails up here, that also helps that short idea at the high. Do we get up to 65 or not? So you get that whippy action above that high. Could rotate right back down real fast. But I would like to see it up. I would like to see it up a little higher. There you go. Popping up. Get up to 69. 65. There's the 65 level. Are we going to push 69? I think like I said, I want to see that whip of 80 to get me into short. 74% long on the tilt. Okay, let's see what we can get going on here. Potentially look to get another little leg up. I'm not going to fight this trend here, this idea of this long coming in. I do want to see a failure up around 80. So we got up pretty much to 69. We got up to 68. The high there was, this is in the way. The high of this candle here is 67.50, so 68, right? So like I said, up into that 69 level potentially gets us some more information. So like I said, I want to get this in here, maybe get a double top, get some sort of a little bit of a heavy tilt to the long side, and then just play a quick failure to the downside. I would even like to wait till like 8. Like I said, 80. 980. That would really be the nice short location. I'm already happy with my executions on the day. I'm not trying to force in another one just to force in another one. So this is what I'm trying to, develop some good habits here on these accounts. Somebody's banging around outside. I'm glad we had some conversation about the cumulative delta. It's not easy to explain how I mean, it is pretty easy to explain how I use it. I explained it and it played out exactly. So we had to take the trade, right? And we made a little bit of money on it. So it's good that we showed it, but maybe we'll look to see if we can get something like this, but up a little higher. I want to get into that range there. That's really my kill zone kind of area there. You can see it here, how much liquidity has been there, 70, and I did mention up into 80. There's still potential for that. I think the lack of wanting to follow through at these areas also leads to, once you do get to a zone like this, you do start to falter and fail it. I want one more little push up. Let the patience pay. And we're gonna go in with 3 with that VWAP target. Not a huge trendline person, but I've been starting to use them more of late because they've just kind of been acting pretty well on these trades of late, like I said. You can see that very high volume node there. It was almost to the point where it wants to be a point of control. It's right there at 950. It spent so much time there overnight. Even back into yesterday. There is definitely orders here. Like I said, if you get it into here, do something like that. I would like to push into here, fail this, and then rotate down. Just continue this push to the downside. Give me that wick up to the high. Then we'll take that short to the downside. Apple's still, even though it's at lows, I mean, it's bounced. It's still towards the low end. Microsoft, it's pushing up and failing, pushing up and failing, pushing up and failing. Tesla, AMZN, Amazon at the high end of a range. So some of these names start to push downside. then you're going to get that failure in that rotation. So you fail to break this high again on NVIDIA, you might get that right here. We might not get to where I want to be. We might want to risk this. No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. Although I do think that the sell is going to come in somewhere over here. If I get in with one contract, maybe. Get in with one, a feeler, risk $30. Yeah, I'm going to see. Probably get in with one if we pop up a little bit. I say Apple has down to 180, Microsoft has down to 406.18, and then if it gets through there, then beyond. We're lingering here at this level, and you can see the S&Ps right here failing that opening range low again. Oh, right here, opening range low failure. I'm gonna take one short here, just one micro, and I'm gonna risk up to that VWAP, whatever that is there. Really want to risk to 80. As we approach 80, if we get another setup here, I'll add one more. And then we'll see if we can take it to the downside. If it goes now without getting that add, so be it. We'll try to add lower here. Maybe add on a sell through here, just to have another contract on. If we crack this high and you get a delta divergence and a long tilt, 70% long, somewhere in that 969s, right? You're not getting a huge buying pressure coming in here. This was a resistance level once, twice. We sold off pre-market from here. So this is an area of interest for me. If we do get to here, we're gonna add one on the way down. But if we get up into this range and we do what we want up here, I'm going to short more up there. I'm using this as a feeler position, one micro contract, not risking very much of this of our gains. If we do end up getting out on our like a wild breakout, then the idea was wrong anyway. So Apple giving you a little bit of a push up there, not helping the cause, but also may help us get into. So adding to a loser and scaling in to a position idea are two different things for me. I planned on adding to this on the way up at certain areas, but really not on the way up, on the way down when it does start to fail. But I can scale in to not have my full loss by starting with a feeler position and then working my way in. It's different than being like, oh, I'm underwater, I have to get, I gotta get more on, and then you start to take an oversized loss. You don't want to add to losers, but if you want to scale in around a zone for an idea, that's okay. I think that's a totally different thing because you planned it prior, right? If you plan it prior, then that's what is the difference, right? If you didn't plan it and you're like, oh crap, I could get in here, this is great, I could add in, that's when you get yourself into trouble. I said 69 was the volume area low from yesterday, value area low. So that's what I was looking at for that. A rejection of that value area low and a rotation back down is what I was looking for. You start to see Apple creep up. So, but you see that rejection. Delta's pushing some. I'm going to wait to scale in on a maybe a break above and then a failure below this zone. So I'll add a second below that zone, right? I want to see it get above here and then fail and rotate maybe down below here. But you can see you're getting some actual buying pressure here. You have a large seller at just overhead at 70. Hopefully they either front run it. I'll get my second one on. Yeah, 970 and even. There's a large size order there. Either a magnet, it's either going to spoof and run, or it's going to get filled and roll over. S&P is still fighting with that volume opening range low. Did not get filled on this second one yet. Okay, so now we have 2 on a potential failure of that 69 level. There you go, it's short there. I'm gonna go stop above the high there. I don't wanna risk too much on this. Now I got 2 on, I'm probably not gonna get the third on unless we really continue pushing further downside. I may get that third one on below that opening range low, opening range high. Add a third one on there. But I really need to fail this level now. This will be my last trade of the day. It's just executing on an idea and see where we end up. S&Ps did fail that opening range low, so we should maybe try and catch up some. Apple rolling some, Microsoft rolling some, Nvidia failing the high. No, broke out the high. So that's the one thing that's holding us up here. And probably Tesla as well. Nope, Tesla failed. So Nvidia, only thing holding us here. And if it gets to 785, 80, then it may fail that level there. Fucking Nvidia, man. Always hurting my cause. There we go. There's the failure. If I can get to value area high right here at 47, then I'm going to go to break even. And then we'll probably, like I said, this add will happen if we break down and get down below the opening range high. And then I'll have to adjust my stop a little bit. I'll have to put a stop loss out. So the stop loss actually has to go out here. Didn't get the flush I wanted. I'm guessing because Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia just doing its thing, carrying us up in spite of Microsoft and Apple. I think if we can get that failure of Nvidia, then this should roll. There's that level that it tagged off on. Maybe we could sell from there some, and then we could get ourselves a pullback. Tesla also pulling back. The only name really holding us up, Nvidia. So if Nvidia can sell from here, then we should be okay in this position. If we get stopped out, it's probably going to be because of Nvidia. So just we'll call it blame Nvidia. Either way, we'll blame Nvidia either way because Microsoft and Apple have really started to help this position downside. It's just that last name. Even Tesla faltered at the highs. So Meta, Amazon, all here at levels where they're kind of rejecting. I'm playing this based on my NQ levels, my ideas on the way the NASDAQ has reacted on its own. If it gets stopped out because of a name like Nvidia, then I can't be mad at it. It is what it is. Everything else was acting in my favor, so we're right at break even. We're still at a point where it wants to flush, it wants to do its thing. It's just you know, we waited, we were patient, we got to our zone. Price has slowed down here. Pretty much everything we want to happen is happening, except for getting that NVIDIA to play along with us. Apple's rolling, Microsoft trying to, you know, play with this higher level, but not quite making new highs. It was selling off some. And then there you go. There's that guy that's been carrying us upside so much. Tesla failing. S&P's pushed down quite good, you know, like was very smooth through that opening range low. So it was leading us upside. I'm going to guess we'd probably try and catch up to the downside some. I'm going to cut it right above there. Like I said, I added on to this as it came back downside. So we are in on two. We're not making new highs. Delta's trying to creep. I mean, price is trying to creep up. Delta's not playing along. It looks like we're just trying to grab liquidity here to sell off. Just like here. I'm going to leave my stop where it is because that's the value area low from yesterday. NVIDIA just hating me. Apple rolling over. Apple carried us up yesterday. I think Apple carries us down further today. Just bull flagging, I guess. Yeah, like I said, last trade of the day here, 50-50 on the tilt. Delta's flat. Price just doesn't want to really break out. Apple's rotating lower. Microsoft is really failing to break out a high. It's trying again, but only because NVIDIA is dragging the NQ up. So I don't know what news it got. Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but we're out. We're flat. So we're flat. Flatten everything here. Up 183. We took a loss there. Nothing that we weren't willing to risk on a attempted short. Oh, we're not flat. We're up 183. 183 even. NVIDIA is the reason we were stopped out there. So I'm going to call it blame NVIDIA today. It's just absolutely crushing. Apple's getting crushed. Wicking that bottom. Microsoft. The only thing I want to do is maybe take one more shot at it short, but I don't want NVIDIA to be so strong. I want to see if NVIDIA will pull back some. Probably gets up to that 793 level from yesterday. If it reclaims back down before below 785, 78, then potentially looks to go south. But ES just reclaimed the opening range, so it's back into there. So bullishness continues. This is where we were looking to short. If we can do it in spite of NVIDIA, maybe we take one more shot at it with one guy. Yeah, we'll take one more shot at it. If it decides to roll. If not, then we'll be flat. We're not in it. All right, we're in short. We only have one contract on. We'll add below lows. We add to winners here. So we'll look to see if we can break below here. Add one. We'll get that one to break even. And we'll add the third if it does break lower. NVIDIA just needs to give up the GOAT, baby. The hip hop's just getting me going. I need to take trades. 58% long on the tilt. Maybe a failed breakout there. Flat on the delta. We're in on one on the same idea. Maybe we can get one of these names to play. And by one of these names, I mean NVIDIA. If it can play to the downside, then we will be in on multiple contracts as we push to the downside. This is just going to be, you mitigate the risk as it goes. If we get that add, then you got to go down and go down and go down. So it's just, if not, we stay in on this, and that this is it for the day. We're trying our shot at this location because this is a important spot from the overnight, and just looking back over the last few weeks, we haven't been in this high area for that long. So like I said, I think we may have room up to 980 to 18,000. So we do have up into here. However, I do think based on the way price action acted overnight, we could at least catch a portion of this move down if it does want to fail. If it doesn't fail here, then watch that 18, that 990 to 18, 980, 990 to 18,000. It looks like it wants to short. It just feels heavy to me. But that doesn't matter. It does what it wants. Yeah, we're willing to give back $50, $25 on this to try and make this rotate all the way down. That'd be fantastic. But do I think we'll rotate fully? No, but I think if you start to get selling come into the NASDAQ, I think it makes some of these other things sell off harder. Apple's bouncing. I think NVIDIA is just really kind of helping this market out. It stopped for a second and now it's just pushing again. So yesterday's pretty much close has been reclaimed. We're going to look to see if it's going to rotate back the other way. That 69 level popped. My stop's right at a huge order, so it might just get filled. I'm gonna go just above this zone, not because I don't want it. I just don't want to get ticked and filled and run. You can see there's a big order here, so I don't want to be in front of that. I'm willing to risk that much. It's not a big deal. we're hanging out here waiting to see if this will give us a little bit of a sell. Nvidia is starting to take its time, give it a little bit of a breath. Do I think it's going to stop? Probably not, because it's Nvidia. So once it catches a bit, it just keeps going. You can see that big order kind of getting respected there. It's like a magnet, though. It's probably going to get touched at 75, and then we'll see what happens to my stop, if it gets run or not. Or if somebody's going to front run this large order and it's actually going to be a sell, which it looks like it wants to. If we can get back down through 69, maybe this now starts to induce some selling. But if it holds 69, then we're off to the highs. Oops. Yeah, it looks like it wants to hold that 69. So that 69 level there, pretty important. It broke it, came back, tested it, and now it's looking to push up a bit. But hopefully, if we can get our position to play out here, that 69 level needs to break down. You know, we might get stopped and roll over here at some point, but it's just, you know, that's how trading works, right? You know, we're in the right idea, maybe at the wrong time. What I did mention before, right, that I wanted to see 80 get wicked and then take our short, which we didn't really wait for because we were starting to get some confirmation from Apple and Microsoft and whatnot. So we did take that first attempt at that short. That's why we did it. Right now, obviously not playing out that way. Probably playing out the way that original idea was, right, with that come up to around that 80 level and then short. But there was a big seller at 75, and you know, we'll see if what happens down here at 60 if it does get there. Because the reason I moved my stop is because there was just a pretty large order sitting right there at 75. I need 69 to break. Nope, it's holding again. Buyers at 69. Try to keep that delta in your screen. There is a buyer at 69. Looks like he kind of gave up. Let's see if it'll flush it. If not, then it probably bounces. Oops. Not sure what I just did there, but Apple. Oh, it's in a 30. I don't know what happened here. There's Nvidia selling, so that maybe helps us. But 69 got recovered again. We're just being patient, letting our stop work itself out, because we're wrong above that level, right? Because if it does get through there, it's probably going to shoot up. If we can hold here and then fall off, then we could probably get this selling to start to be initiated. Nvidia needs to help us. And if we get our second add-on, then we're going to move our stop above this high here at 69. Because that 69 level was important. So we're going to move if we get that add, we're going to move our stop to 69. And then we're just going to continue to add on the way down and see how much we can gain on this. Working on that being my thing. I want to add. 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 I want to continue to grow position size as I'm correct. I gotta pee. Give me a second. If I get stopped out or get triggered in, then let me know. bouncing from that level. So 69 got recovered. My stop is going to get run right here, right now, more than likely, because you got Apple pushing up from the lows. Nvidia gonna catch that bid. Microsoft looking to get heavy. I guess our stop's in the right location for that large size guy at 75. I think 69 getting reclaimed isn't going to help us very much. Our entry was a pretty good buy location, it seems. Popping an Apple makes us not want to go. Nvidia. I think we get run, and then the sell comes in. It's just so lackluster on the breakouts. It's just grinding higher. That's to me indicative of a bigger seller coming in at some point here or building into a sell. I don't see a bigger buyer coming in this kind of price action. This price action seems to me like sellers are trying to come in, build a position, and rotate down. They may, like I said, run the stops up into 80 and then try their best to sell us down all the way to the lows. But that's just kind of my thought process on it. I'll watch it after the fact if I do get stopped to see what happens, but I'm going to be done after this trade no matter what happens. We're up another good day. Can't be mad at what we're doing. We're trying to execute on good strategy, give our trade some room to breathe. Even these ones, this one and the last one, trying to scale into it, start with a feeler position, really give it a little bit of room to go, and then see where it ends up. If it wins, it loses, it breaks even, it doesn't matter. The trade happened. It's planned out on a thesis. There's a reason for it. And then, you just kind of go from wherever you are. If it stops you out, trades get stopped out all the time. That's how this game works. You lose. And you lose and you lose and you lose. And the better that you can lose, the better you'll make money longer term. So that's my goal, is to be better at my my allowing executions to come to me instead of forcing in stuff. I'm not going to sit here longer than I have to. I think 8:30 to 11 is plenty of time for me to trade. I mostly get my good executions done, and then if anything afterwards, I usually tend to overtrade and get myself into trouble. So just going to look to execute on these moves and see what happens. Apple. Looking to rotate down maybe one more time. Microsoft. Looking to break down as well. Still looking to break this level here. I think 69 is important. I think maybe I could even limit my loss there and cut at 69. But we've let this thing play out nice. I think I put my stop at a good location. If we are going to get a good sell-off, it's probably going to come soon. Our entry is a fantastic line in the sand, right? There's a big buyer or somebody there that just doesn't want to let that thing go. So that was clearly a right. There's something important here, right? We just continue to hold it. So if it does crack at some point, it probably will give us a good crack. But how much follow through on it do we get? Do we get the add-on and then go back, to limiting our risk some more? Like I said, if we do get the add-on, we're going to go to 69, because I think if we get above 69, prices are going to start to rally. But Microsoft giving you that good pullback. Apple also looking to sell some. I think, like I said, Apple has to 180. So if I can get it to flush here, then that may help Apple start to accelerate downside. And then we'll go from, there we go. There's that good, you see that whippy action. Trying to push here. I'm going to leave my stop until that trigger gets activated. There was just not enough buyers there to push us through the highs, so you would hope that these sellers can now come in and take over. There we go. Okay, if it does get above 69, we're going to be out anyway. So on either one of these, because this is going to be like a liquidity grab type deal. So even if we don't get triggered into this, which looks like at the moment we're not, I think anything above 69 pops us off, especially with that kind of whippy price action there. But right now we're just sitting, right up around break even. But I think if we do crack this low, we should never come back to 69. That should not come into play at all. One contract, still, it doesn't increase our risk at all. It just adds to our winner. I just cut my risk in half because like I said, if we do get above 69, I think we're gonna run. So I pulled my stop to there. You saw that whippy price action down below. Could have been a liquidity grab to pump us up. However, I trust the downside more than the upside here. And you just gotta limit it. I cut my loss. I don't care if I lose on it. It's not gonna make or break the account. There it goes. I want to get these together. It's gonna get stopped, so we'll be fine. Oh, that stop is at 70. There's a size there at 70. I want these together. There we go. I got both of them together. Cool. There's some size out there. I think if it runs 69, then it's going to run through 70, run through 75, and we'll be out. But I think that's either a liquidity grab. If we roll over after the fact, then so be it, like I said. But I think 69, we're stopped there. So up 168.50 on the day. A good day, another green day. Ending the day, we gave back some, but we did a good job of just managing those little bit of losses. We were up 230. We were up 168. I'll keep the 50 cents off there, but 168, pretty good day. Let's see what happens moving forward. If this is now going to be the sell move, then we missed it, right? I didn't want to get triggered in, double my stop, double my risk. So that's really where I got to, but we'll see if it triggers down here and then rotates lower or not. But right now, we are done for the day. I hope everybody has another wonderful trading day. See everybody tomorrow at 8:30 Central. We'll do 8:30 to 11. I'm going to watch this for one more minute or so and show you that it's going to get my stop and then run down. But I'm not going to chase it here. So I thought if 69 gets reclaimed, then we would get probably ripped out. So that's why I stopped myself there. You got Microsoft catching a little bit of a green candle there. Apple just not following through to the downside, and Nvidia is just catching an area where it could bounce at 785 3/4. So there's no reason to stay in that. Like I said, it feels heavy. I think there is a big delta divergence here. I think there is going to be a pretty significant sell side move, but stream goes to 11. I go to 11. I don't want to get myself in any further trouble. I don't want to give back any more profits on the day. We are green, so let's keep the green going. Another day trying to dig out of this little bit of a drawdown, and then we'll go from there. But like I said, we're just making good executions, cutting our losses, and trying to let some of these winners run. So until tomorrow, same time, same place, tradecaster.com, 8:30 a.m. I will see you guys then. Deuces.